All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Drinkin at Moe's. Be sure if you're watching YouTube, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications because I got more big things coming. And we got on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. You can find us. Today, extremely honored to have with us Cary Silkin. How are you doing?
Good, my man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a hectic few weeks. I'm still recovering from Texas.
Oh boy, I can imagine. That was one hell of a time.
Here's the thing. I went down on Tuesday. I was staying at the hotel where the WrestleCon was. Most of my friends, like guys that I'm close with, like Luke Williams and some of my non-wrestling friends were coming into town. Most people were coming in Thursday. So it was just it was a fun week, a long week. There was a lot of pressure. Ooh, I got to go to Dealey Plaza where they murdered Kennedy. So that was interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've been to Dallas, but I do remember going by there.
Yeah, it's important to go check that out. But
oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
I guess to get it started, what got you interested in the pro wrestling business, like getting involved with Ring of Honor at the start?
Well, I was just like most of us, I was a wrestling fan since I was 9 years old, and I always kept my eye on business. It was, and you know this, it was so uncool, right? I would go to shows by myself sometimes because I couldn't get anybody to go, right? You know the story.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
We're talking about the 70s and 80s here. You know, they had this rule at Madison Square Garden. Mo, you know what a blue law is, right?
Not actually, no.
Like, you know, like you can't sell liquor on Sunday or something.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Bars close at such and such time, or it's Easter, and whatever. So in New York State, they had blue laws by the Boxing and Wrestling Commission. And we're talking up until 73, I think. Anyway, no masked wrestlers, no gimmick matches like cage matches, chain matches, right? Also, the biggest bummer, no women, no masks, the gimmicks. But the biggest bummer was that you had to be 14 years old to go to a show. And
really?
When I was like 10 years old watching the old WWF, they would always talk about Madison Square Garden. They would talk about the other towns. I was in Jersey. I'd say to my dad, "Hey, can you take me to the Newark Armory?" He's like, "No." So I was very sad that I wasn't able to go to the Garden. But they didn't enforce this everywhere in New York State. And my uncle Henry, knew the guy that was the promoter at Sunnyside Gardens, which was in Queens, right outside of New York City. And the promoter's name was Manny Hecklin. And my Uncle Henry knew him for years. And he asked him, "Hey, Manny, what if my nephew wants to go?" He goes, "It's all right, in my place." So I went to my first card in, I'll get to your question, don't worry. I got to my first card in January 1st or 2nd of 1967. Dude, I'm old. But, and I just was in love with it. You know, I would scour the town for the magazines. You know, everything was better pre-internet. How old are you?
I turned 39 in July.
Well, you know about pre-internet.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was better. I mean, everything. But anyway, so I was always interested in the wrestling business. As a matter of fact, I wound up, where the hell are they? I wound up getting involved in a project to do wrestling magazines in Puerto Rico. That's right. Ooh. You heard me right. Wrestling magazines in Puerto Rico. Let me grab one. Hold on. Oh, here you go.
Ooh. Nice.
Anyway, my cousin Mike, he was the editor. Not only was he editor of Metal Edge back in the day, and he was this is once again pre-internet magazines. So he was the editor of the country. He did all kinds of music, rock and roll, jazz, metal, country. It didn't matter. He was also a wrestling fan. He was the guy that turned me on to wrestling. He was like 4 years older than me, and we talk every day. But anyway, this is in 1999. We were going to Puerto Rico on vacation. I said, and what happened was, his company, Sterling McFadden, the publisher, had the 40 magazines, including Wrestling World, which was around since the early 60s. And it was down to like 6 issues a year. And the editor quit or he left or something. And my cousin wound up being the editor of the Wrestling World. So we're going to Puerto Rico. I said, hey Mike, they got a really good wrestling scene here. And we investigated, we got welcomed in, and after the first show, it reminded me of like going back 30 years to like 70s wrestling at the Garden. But I said to my cousin, hey, do you think that we could do a wrestling magazine in Spanish? He's like, what are you, crazy? You're talking about translation, layout, blah, 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 distribution. I said, well, do they sell the other magazines from your company in Puerto Rico? Yeah. So that got me into the wrestling business, which led to ROH. And here we are in 2022.
That's awesome. And the one thing I was also thinking of involving Ring of Honor, and the talk has happened a lot since the Final Battle show about Ring of Honor launching the careers of a lot of guys. They're like, it's all over the wrestling business.
All over. I put on AEW, I put on WWE. It's like I'm watching all my children. You know, whether it's the era of Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe and CM Punk, whether it's the era of Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, Generico, Sami Zayn, so on and so forth, up to Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. And I'm leaving a ton of names out here. Roderick Strong. Why do I always leave his name out? So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think of it like that, but I guess it launched a lot of careers. It was a good platform at the time. So I'm grateful.
Speaking of Danielson,
I see that. I'm grateful I was able to do that, and we'll see what happens from this point, man.
Yeah. I mean, all those names, I'd imagine may be hard to pick favorites in there because you kind of mentioned
it is hard to pick favorites. Yeah, there's certain. I mean, when we were running down those names, I left out Homicide. I left out Nigel McGuinness. I left out Loki. I left out Paul London. I left out Brian Kendrick. I left out Jay Lethal, my best friend. We could just go on and on and on. Delirious, Seidel's, Colt Cabana. I'm sorry, Colt Cabana. You know, Christopher Daniels. So yeah, it's a hell of a list, man.
Oh, totally. And two guys that I talked to a couple episodes ago that told me to say hi.
Who's that?
The SATs.
The good guys. You know, they had an early run and never came back. Because I wasn't involved in the booking. I make a suggestion, but that's not my thing. So, and they've been very successful. You know, on their. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I'm happy for those guys.
Oh yeah, they seem to be doing some pretty great things. NYWC, they've been in a bunch of GCW shows, fighting a handful of times with, Ring of Honor Hall of Famers, the Briscoes.
There you go. Right. They're New York guys, and they've been around a long time. Who knows? Maybe they'll come back to Ring of Honor.
Hey, I actually tweeted after, it was either after Supercard of Honor or it was within the last few days. They tweeted at them, and I kind of quote tweeted and be like, "Hey, Ring of Honor, make it happen."
Right. Yeah. Who knows? It's an interesting time in pro wrestling. Who would have thought? Like my good friend Bushwhacker Luke said, where did the time go? But in 20 years, it's crazy. Then it's hard to imagine what's going to roll out in the next few years, but I'm sure it'll be very interesting, my man.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing time to be a fan of pro wrestling because there's literally so much out there to choose from. If you don't like one thing, there's bound to be something out there that you'll find that you can enjoy.
Yeah, plus with the way streaming is now, when Ring of Honor started, the internet was at its infancy. YouTube didn't start till I believe 2009, and just wasn't as much access, instant gratification style. So, Ring of Honor, my Ring of Honor was involved in the very inception of pay-per-view events, and there was two ways we did them. One way, you might remember this, back in 2006, 7, 8, we did these pre-recorded pay-per-views that they didn't come out until like 6 weeks later, and they were on cable there was a thing called, tell me if you remember this, In Demand, or... I
remember.
They were also on like not HDNet, excuse me, on the Dish Network. They were on some other pay-per-view platform on cable TV. I just don't remember but anyway, we did those, and even though they were 6 weeks late, we did okay with those. And then we were on it didn't always work out, but we were right on the infancy of these internet pay-per-views. Fight Live. And that was always rough sailing. Sometimes it was okay, but there was a couple of, thank God I sold the company in 2013, I think, and Jim Cornette was still involved. They had a real breakdown in Florida at the WrestleMania weekend. I guess it was Supercard of Honor, right? So,
yeah.
And Jim went nuts. I was like, hey, ain't me no more, please. But so, and at your age is the perfect age to understand what I'm saying about the way things have changed. The way the consumption of, the consumption of just content, via video. It's so changed. Dude, there was a song in 1989 by Springsteen, 57 channels and nothing on. Right now there's 957.
Oh, yeah. And
so it's just it's a different landscape. It's a different world. You can just watch anything at any time almost, if you want to spend the money or wait for it to be on YouTube. So it's just a strange time. And I was told, although it's not official, that the Ring of Honor pay-per-view last Friday was one of the highest bought pay-per-views. Maybe it just did very well.
Oh, I've heard many people in talks of all the shows during Mania weekend that show was like their top one.
You saw it, right?
Oh yeah, I pre-ordered that and I was watching it, man.
Yeah,
oh.
I mean, it was amazing. And I hear some people criticizing, this match, or why'd they use this guy? Da, 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 da. For me, the thing flew by. A lot of times it's like the show's good, but it's like, oh God, what time is it? But this one, when Gresham and Bandito came out,
yeah,
I leaned over to Bobby Cruz and said the stupidest question ever. You know what it was? Hey man, is this the last match? Well, of course it's the last match. You know, there's the title match and we've seen the brisket. So he's like, but that's how fast it went.
Oh, I can only imagine.
And the other thing, here's the beauty of this. I don't like to know what's going on. And Bobby, and we had no idea that Samoa Joe was going to stick his nose out.
Oh.
That was so cool.
Oh man,
that was chilling and thrilling. That was a moment.
Oh man, I can only imagine being there live for that.
It was crazy, dude. That was a massive pop. The FTR guys. I mean, I love the Briscoes. They're my guys. FTR talk. I had a couple of my friends that they're not really wrestling fans, and I got them up front as close as I could, and I said, "Don't leave. This is for Briscoes and FTR." I go, "This is going to be a fight," and it was. And
oh yeah,
those guys are really good. FTR, I've gotten to know them a little. They're really good guys. They really respect wrestling history, as does Tony Khan. So it's a really good scene there. We'll see what's going to roll out. Who knows? But it was a great experience, Mo. Awesome. Great weekend. The WrestleCon was a lot of fun. Seeing Bushwhacker Luke, hanging out with Kevin Sullivan, running into this guy and that guy that I know a little. Jeff Jarrett, this one, hey, what's up? It was good. Plus, at the WrestleCon, they had 8 shows. Is that enough? New Japan, Impact, AAA, Super Show this. I couldn't keep track, but it was a lot going on there, and it was a lot of fun. Hey, it's like I got to go to these things. Like I said, Luke's 75. And I just said, dude, we got to hang out. So it was really nice. Where do you live?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Well, next year's in LA. You got to get ready to come out there.
You know what? I will see what I can do to make that happen. I know I have a bunch of independent wrestlers that are friends of mine out there that I've been told all I got to do is get a plane ticket.
Well, that ain't too much to ask.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've never actually been to a Mania weekend, so that would be pretty fun time. And also, I've only ever watched on TV the Ring of Honor shows.
Oh,
I've never
shame on you.
Oh.
You got to come to a live show.
Oh man, I've been wanting to so bad. It seems like whenever they come close, it's either, I think as far as AEW goes, they've only come as close as Kansas City.
Well, maybe they'll get closer as time goes on. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Hey, just this last Saturday, they had the World of Wheels, and Hangman Adam Page was there
At what?
at the World of Wheels Auto Show.
Okay, cool.
And
What city was that in?
That was here in Omaha, just
Oh, right
across town.
on. That's cool. Did you go?
Oh yeah, I went. I had one of his action figures I went to get signed, and yeah, no, I'm hoping. I mean, we were talking about Ring of Honor. I want to go to a Ring of Honor show really damn bad.
Well, we will. Listen, man, I got to wrap this up. You want to do? Do you want me to do the promo on this for you?
Oh yeah, no, we can get that taken care of.
Or just want me to send you, email you the clip?
Emailing me a short clip. It doesn't got to be anything long.
Hey,
That'd
listen.
probably be.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Whatever, keep in touch, and I enjoyed talking to you, my man.
I enjoyed talking to you too, and like I mentioned many times, extremely grateful to get the opportunity to talk to you.
No problem. Thanks again, man.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, bro.